Today we are at Pigzza, and Thomas is going to show us around his pizzeria. He owns a barbecue place, hence the name Pigzza, and he opened a pizzeria because he wanted to find a restaurant that people could visit more than one time per week. And pizza, obviously, we all know is great. He opened his pizzeria doors for us to show us around, show us how he makes his pizza, how he comes up with his recipe, the cost of build out for this restaurant, everything in between. So let's get right into this episode with Pigzza and Thomas.
Thomas, thank you so much for having us. Where are we today?
We're at Pigzza in 1050 North Mills Avenue in Orlando, Florida.
How did you get started here?
Man, it's a long story, but I started with a barbecue restaurant about 10 years ago. My main concern was that barbecue has a little bit less frequency than normal, right? So I wanted to get into a business where people would like to come on a weekly basis, and I also wanted to get into full service business because over there I do a little fast casual, so it's a different atmosphere and a different speed of doing business. So I wanted to do pizza too because I love pizza.
Pizza's great, isn't it?
Pizza's great. It used to be a kind of car dealership, gas station, I guess. We luckily after the pandemic, Orlando changed the laws on the amount of seats that you could have for a full liquor license. So,
like increased it or decreased it?
Decreased it for the smaller restaurants, so it made it possible for restaurants with 80 seats and 1,800 square feet to have a full liquor license to compete with other bigger boxes.
Right.
So that building we extended so that we could have the square footage, and then added the outside because we needed the seats, right? And it's been a great undertaking. It took 3 years to build.
Wow.
Between permits and everything else getting out of the way.
Well, I see you have an LA hat on.
Yeah.
And I've done some people in LA. I've done some podcasts with people, and they say that LA is really hard to build restaurants, right? Because there's a lot of red tape and a lot of permits and hurdles you got to go through. Is Orlando the same way?
Yes, sir. I mean, I have currently, I'm opening a second Pig Floyd's in January, and that one's been 3.5 years.
Wow. What's the holdup?
Permitting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this areas are changing, right? They've been like this for the last 20, 30 years.
Right.
So the city trying to evolve, with the locations, they want us as entrepreneurs to fix their problem, which I love the city, don't get me wrong, but I just think that red tape and all these, different things that they want causes really a lot of problems and a lot of extra money being spent. Right? Yeah. My project in Winter Park was supposed to be $1 million and now it's $1.7 million.
Wow.
So it's like, this one was supposed to be $1.2 million and it turned out to be $2 million too. So
wow. Is that from like all the things that you had to do to get the building open?
Yeah. It's all the things that you have to do.
Construction-wise?
Yeah, construction got really expensive after COVID too.
That's true.
And originally when I built Pig Floyd's 10 years ago, they told me I was crazy spending $650,000, and now, like, I don't hear of anybody that's spending, small amounts of money to open a restaurant. So that makes it a little bit more challenging.
That's a drastic change for starting a business because your initial business plan was probably on the lower end of the cost that it started to get going. So does that increase the prices in which you had to start your stuff, or does it just increase the length of time to get your money back?
Yeah, I mean, I think that change has been now that your money back is going to be a little bit extended out.
Right.
And you have to make the investment because at the end of the day, like, you have to put a great atmosphere, because I also feel that that's changed due to the fact that social media plays such a big role. Everything is instant, so if you don't have the right atmosphere, it could really dampen your sales.
Yeah.
And I think people are tired of the people that, I mean, and no insults to anybody, but I just think that they're tired of the people that just open a restaurant in a random place, threw a couple of Italian pictures out, and then just, regular tables and stuff. Like, people want you to think about their experience and to figure out like what they want to see. I am big on feedback. I'm huge on feedback. And I had a group of 6 people the other day, and what they said is atmosphere is so important for them, right? So it's changed.
Yeah.
Before it was, the food is great, who cares about how it looks, right?
Right.
Now it's like, we care about how it looks, we care about how the bathroom looks.
Yep.
We care about the music, we care about so many other things than the food, right? And that's just, to me, that's crazy, but but that you have to adjust to your guest.
Right. Can we take a look inside?
Yeah, come on. Come on in.
Go ahead, I got it.
Thank you.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So we did a bar area. This is Jenna. And the bar area was just obviously a great addition to it because liquor makes money, guys.
Yeah, right?
Liquor does make money. So
this, you completely gutted this place.
we did. We completely gutted the place. The actual building was up to here. This was the wall where these two doors were. So we extended the building so that we could grab those 1,800 square feet and a couple more chairs inside. And then the outside area is pretty large. Believe it or not, which it's crazy to me, but we asked the same question the other day, like, do you guys like to sit outside in the hot weather? And people are like, yeah, we prefer to sit outside.
Floridians love the heat, don't they?
Floridians love the heat. So it's just an interesting, it's an interesting perspective, I guess, to me, right? Because I would like to sit inside.
Right.
My focus has always been the food.
Yeah.
I don't drink, so it's for me, it's not like drinking is important.
It's like, yeah.
For me, the food is what really talks.
Same.
Right? And so that was my main focus when I got in the pizza business, is just how can I get this to be special and different? And that's where I went into sourdough.
Got it. So is this business mostly dine-in, or do you do takeout too?
I do takeout, and then I do Uber as well.
Okay.
So
What's the percentage of dine-in versus takeout? Do you do delivery? Is Uber delivery?
Uber delivery?
Okay.
Yeah. Uber does about a 15%. Takeout does about 12, and then the rest is dine-in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good. That's
We
a
do
good
about
ratio.
22% liquor, which is pretty decent. Right?
And you're open every day, or what's the schedule?
We're open Tuesday through Sunday.
So you close on Mondays.
I close on Mondays to just we deep clean the kitchen every Monday.
Yeah.
We start doing all our dough prep, and the same over there. It just gives us a day to fix any problems that you have at the restaurant.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. That day that's off, it's kind of really helpful in your mental
100%.
space. Yeah.
I wish the one thing people always ask me, because I operated a pizzeria shop for 25 years too. And I always wish.
I heard in Boston, right?
Yeah, Boston, North Shore.
Boston.
But the one thing I wish I could go back and change was we opened 7 days a week, 11 to 10 every day.
Whoa.
And I wish I could have closed a day.
Yeah.
And like not cared about the sales and just been like, you know what, everybody needs a mental day off.
We do, yeah.
It's just so important to be, because when you're a restaurant owner, when you're not here, doesn't mean you're not working. Someone's going to text you, someone's going to call you,
Every
something
day
breaks.
we have something going on.
So the only time you really have the day off is if the business isn't open.
Yeah, and even those days, I'm not off.
Yeah,
right.
you're doing something.
I sometimes work more that day.
Yeah.
Because I could catch up on things because I don't have the distractions. So like last week, I got in there and I pressure washed. To me, I love pressure washing. It's really weird, right? But I just love to keep our restaurants clean and looking great. And facilities become a problem, believe it or not. Like, you know, having to deal with breakage and like tables breaking or stuff like that, which people don't think about, but it is a reality, right?
Definitely.
And when you start operating multiple restaurants, then now it becomes a bigger problem for you.
Where did you learn how to make pizza? So you're not from pizza world, right? You're a restaurateur, but not a pizza guy.
I am not, right?
Can we walk over there?
Yeah.
Is that the kitchen? Like, is it like a little bit of an open kitchen?
Yeah, it's open kitchen.
I love that.
Yeah. So we use the Pizza Master because I did a bunch of research on ovens, and I thought that was the best.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody differs, right?
I've done so many videos, and everybody uses a Pizza Master.
Pizza Master,
A lot of them.
Yeah, it's more consistent product.
Yeah.
You get that heat back, so you can keep producing.
So much so that someone messaged me on one of the things like, does Pizza Master sponsor your podcast? And I'm like, no, but they should.
Pizza Master should sponsor me.
Yeah.
I paid $35,000 for that.
Yeah, Thomas, let's go do a podcast. You get a sponsor, pay for the Pizza Master.
Yeah, we should get that Pizza Master. Yeah. Exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I wasn't into pizza like that. And I am, believe it or not, I don't love to cook.
Really?
Okay? Yeah, I don't love to cook. But I like the scientific part behind it.
Okay.
Because, as you know, when you cook at home, it's a little different.
Totally.
But when you're cooking for masses, like, and when you're cooking for a lot of people, we had 1,000 people that we fed on Saturday over there.
Wow.
It's just a different, different sizing, different everything, right? So I started just going nuts on YouTube. I've always been a YouTube university student, right?
Yep.
And believe it or not, I went as far as to do blood work because I believe in digestibility a lot, right? So I went and did the chromosome work, and I am allergic to folic acid.
Oh.
And
did you know that before you did that?
No.
Interesting.
So in the United States, every flour contains folic acid, and we fortify everything here. And that's why people say like, oh, in Italy and I feel better. Well, there's no folic acid there.
Right.
So I found the smallest amount of folic acid flour, okay, here that's produced in actually Florida. And
is it a local place or is it a well-known name?
No, it's a well-known brand, yeah. But they're not sponsoring me, so we're not going to throw their name. Yeah.
If they want to, where can they go?
They can call me. But so, and then I decided to go on sourdough because it's so much better for your digestibility and how it reacts to your sugar, right?
Yep.
And I think sourdough really creates a different flavor profile, but a lot of people think that it's a lot of work. And I think it's just, we feed the mother every day and we do it.
Right. It's a lot of, I think there's a learning curve a little bit in the beginning, but once you learn how to do that, then you can kind of do it.
It is, yeah. Let me see. Steph has the mother. Oh, here it is. She probably fed it right now. Yeah.
So that's what you...
This is the mother. We've killed 6 of them. Yeah, we have.
That's great. So when people talk about like, oh, we have the sourdough and we've had the same recipe for 100 years, that's what they mean. They have this going, they just have fed it for so long,
right,
over and over and over again.
The funny thing is, so I have a chef Jason that used to work with me, and we started like deep diving into the sourdough. And then when he left, I didn't know much because I was just trying to get the restaurant just, full of people. And by then we were 7 months open and we were dealing with so many things. We had a big challenge in creating the team here. It took us really a year to get the right team.
Were you just shuffling through people till you found the right people?
We went through 100 people in a year.
Wow.
Yeah, and we went through assistant managers. Again, I think I'm lovely to work with. Maybe some people don't. But it's really hard to build a team, right? And to build a team that's looking for the same results.
Yeah.
So I've gotten in here, and Jenna that you met helps me operate as well, and the team's great. We have a great team, and we've been able to get all the recipes in the right place and consistent, because that's another challenge, like the consistency of doing the same thing every day. I think a lot of people get tired of it.
Yeah.
And I live in that world with barbecue, like
tired of it as like the employees, you mean, doing the same thing over and over again?
It's not creative.
Yeah, I call it Groundhog Day, like that movie Groundhog Day.
Yes, it's exactly that, right? So it's a hard, even for me, I've been in it 12, 15 years, 13 years, 13 years. I think it's just tough to do the same thing every day, right? And you want to, sometimes I go into these spurts and you could ask them that I'm like, okay, we got to fix something, or we got to create something, right? Or change something. But at the end of the day, people want to taste the same thing every time they come. I've had friends with their kids call me like, have you changed your apple fennel slaw? I'm like, no, I haven't changed it at all. Oh, my kids say that it tastes different. I'm like, oh, well, I'll check. Like, and maybe they put a little bit too much dressing or stuff like that. So I feel that people are looking for that consistency, especially in pizza, man. Like, people are very critical of sauce, very critical of dough.
Yes, they are.
We use smoked mozzarella from Grande cheese. So some people don't get it. They think, oh my God, this is so smoked. I can't even taste the smoke, to be honest with you. We pay more money for it. Sometimes I don't know why, but but it creates sort of a difference, right? And at the same time, I learned a lot that the pizza business and doing it as a slice shop is not good because it just doesn't increase your ticket average. So you have to do so many people to create volume.
Yes.
Which is tough, right? So I decided to go with personal size pizzas that are 12-inch for the store.
And that's the ones you serve in the store?
In the store,
Yep.
and then we do 18-inch to go.
Oh, good.
Only to go. Because our tables are kind of small and the space is kind of small, and we do appetizers and stuff like that. So to put an 18-inch pizza in the middle of this table, it would take the whole table and kind of like not serve the purpose, right?
So then, you know what? If you're a restaurant, a sit-down place too, I kind of like the smaller pizza.
Yeah.
Because it gives you the opportunity, especially if you're with a bunch of people, to get a couple different ones.
Yeah.
Try different pizzas.
Yeah, we were always with the intention of people sharing, right? Which is interesting as well because I've learned that after COVID, people's time management in a restaurant has been different in the sense of now they want to come eat and they want it fast.
Yeah.
Before is like we used to have an hour and a half and people are talking, they're sitting down, they're enjoying their meal, they're not in a hurry. If the appetizer takes a little bit more, they're drinking, they're conversating. Now it's like, if my food ain't out in 10 minutes, there is gonna be a world war here, right?
10 minutes feels like an hour.
Yeah, it does, right? And that's something that I keep in mind because I've learned that every minute is 2 in the restaurant business.
Yep.
So I actually timestamp a lot of the tickets so that if somebody talks to me in the table and says like I've been waiting 20 minutes, I actually go to the table and show them the time because I don't think that's fair.
Yes.
Right. We're held to a higher standard, but also you have to understand timing wise.
Yeah.
I've had the same situation with recently, actually, even with Pig Floyd's. I had somebody write a review that we didn't give them 8 ounces of meat, and I literally took a picture of her order because I invited her back to try it again, and I took a picture of both meats, 8 ounces, so that visually she could recognize what 8 ounces looks like. Because I think a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
They, in their head, they think, "Oh my God, that's so little."
Yeah, right? That happened to us too. We used to do a lot of deliveries, and we used to get people calling back and be like, "Oh, I ordered 45 minutes ago, and my pizza's not here yet." And you're like, actually, you want to say it without sounding like an a-hole, so you're like, "You actually ordered 22 minutes ago." And they're like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah,
like,
I sound like the a-hole.
Yeah.
I don't stand for that.
You're the owner. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, but I just think that people need to show, patience first of all, and then if you ordered your pizza and there's 10 tickets in front of you, it's gonna take a little bit more, right? It's not realistic for you to think that.
Especially nowadays when the staff, sometimes like a lot of restaurants are short-staffed, right? Like the employees that are here are doing extra work and
they are.
doing the best they can. You don't need to give them shit for it.
Well, I think you have to understand, and again, I try to do as much possible online to educate guests because people don't get the fact. Like for example, in Florida, we just had a minimum raise, right, where you raise $1, and that's great for front of the house, but the back of the house wants that $1 as well.
Right.
And we pay higher in the back of the house. Everybody does. And then now we're going in the back of the house to that $1. That's a 35 to 40% increase every year. So how do you do that and translate it into the menu? You can't.
Right.
Because right now inflation is so high. Again,
people are very price sensitive.
Very price sensitive. Even when we started, our prices were a little higher. I had to cut the Caesar salad by $4, right? Because people were saying, "Oh my God, the Caesar is so expensive." But I was like, I don't know what to tell you. We put pepperoni crumbles on it. Like it's a good product. Esso pepperoni, we use Esso, which they're really good.
Yep.
And we use grande cheese, and we were using at the beginning more of the organic tomatoes. Obviously, people didn't care.
Yeah.
Which is to me crazy, but they didn't. But I think it's mostly because we're in the area that we're with. If we were in a bigger city, maybe they would think that that's cool, right? Maybe LA, Miami, they think that organic is great, and they're willing to pay for it, but
not here. Yeah. And that's important to know your customer too.
And getting to know your customer and this being a new concept, and trying the menu, and I put basically like probably 10 videos expressing like, hey, we messed up. and we're changing the menu, and we're doing this, and we're listening to you, and we're really into our feedback.
Where'd you put those videos on social media?
On social media, yeah.
What's
And
the-
people loved it.
Yeah.
People love the fact that, hey, and when I read the reviews, you know how I read the reviews and I said, hey, we fucked up, or hey, we did this. Like, we'll take responsibility for it. I put my cell phone number out.
Really?
Nobody reaches out to me, which is funny. Like, I put it out and people told me I'm crazy. Nobody texted me or, or say, hey, this is what's going on at that time. Now I've gotten a few people that actually do text me.
That's good. So you were very transparent about it.
Oh, I'm super transparent. Like, again, I just think that more restaurateurs need to acknowledge that this is your livelihood. I mean, you have to be super transparent with your guests. That's what they want. And putting your number out, what is it gonna? Somebody calls you and insults you, okay, block them. Like,
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right.
Change your number. I don't know. I just feel like that connection is very important to people, and to understand that it's a real live person that owns this business. It's not a corporation.
Right.
And that we house, employees or staff that pay their bills with this business.
Yeah, I think someone would walk in here into this business, and because you've done a really nice job.
Thank
of
you.
Designing it and the layout.
Yeah,
They'd
thank
probably walk in here as a customer and been like, I'm not gonna be able to talk to the owner.
Yeah.
But
I'm
like
here.
if they see you on social media, like you said, you put your phone number out there. You're very.
Yeah. I close here about 4 days a week.
You yourself?
Me, myself.
Wow.
And then I'm in the other restaurant the other days. But I'm always around. I'm very involved. I am not one of these owners that sit in a computer, and I hate a computer. It's just, I've gotten more into the operations than anything. And again, that's you have to balance it out, right? Because now marketing has played such a big role, and you have to be so active in it that you almost have to become an influencer in the marketing aspect, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Do you do it though?
I do it to a certain extent, but it just takes so much time.
It does.
And I love to do videos and all that, but like carrying a camera during the day and just doing that, and then editing and that's not my jam. It's not.
Do you do all your own social media?
No. I have a social media manager.
Okay.
Which now we send videos and she adjusts.
Yep. Is that easier for you?
I do stories. I am very active in the story world. Talking shit, really. That's all I'm doing.
Perfect.
Just informing people of what we're doing. Now, more than ever, they want to know you. They want to know what's going on in your life. They want to know the background. They want to know, what you go through. I wish I could share more of the real deal, like with finances and stuff like that, but I probably think the bank would get pissed if I shared that, right? But I think that...
Do you do it in any kind of subtle way?
I do say that our prices have gone up.
Yeah.
Like, I studied recently our menu, for example, at Pick Floyd's and compared to 10 years ago. And you wouldn't believe that salt went double, Coca-Cola went double. Like, all these things that people don't understand that are money makers, or used to be huge money makers for us, now are become, almost like lost leaders, right? Coke used to be
very profitable.
Very profitable. Now less people are drinking soft drinks, and now the price has gone so high that it's just like, you're charging for the drink, but I don't know that you're making that much money.
I don't think anybody believes owners when they say that either. It's like for some reason they don't believe them when they say that.
Yeah.
Like almost like you're lying.
No, we're not lying.
Yeah.
And then, I love Uber, but I have my things with Uber. I think that's changed the business a lot.
Yeah.
And I joined Uber just 1 year ago.
Wow.
And
what were you doing before that? Your own delivery driver?
No, I was doing all takeout.
Oh, so no delivery.
No delivery, takeout, and all that. And I think that Uber is great, right? Because they deliver, but it's also cutting into your profit. And that just makes it harder operationally to manage the business financially, right? And so I just feel like in the last few years, more and more has been cutting into our profit, and we need to figure out a way to get back to where we originally were, right?
Do you think we can get back there?
I think guests are going to have to suffer in that sense, because we're going to have to raise pricing.
I don't know. I don't see prices ever going down. They may not go up as fast or as much as they have in the past, but I feel like wherever we are now currently is where it's going to be for a while.
It is. I think it's only going to go up because labor is going up.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going down. Like, for example, insurance, I pay $4,500 in insurance a month here.
Wow. Is that because you're in Florida and it's a little bit higher because of the hurricanes?
Yeah. I mean, it's almost...
That's crazy.
It's almost as much as my rent.
Yeah.
And that's not going to change.
Yeah.
Right? We have... What else? I mean, we have to add all these other insurances, EPLI, all these other things now because of lawsuits, right? Because you have to protect yourself against lawsuits. And I just think, you know, people think that robots are gonna fix the problem, or, you know, changing, I don't know, like, I have a friend that has that does the balls. What is it called? Like the machine that does the balls.
The rolling machine?
The rolling machine, which I think is fantastic. But then you have to fix the machine, and you have to service the machine, and then you have to maintain the machine, right? And then your staff loses it in the sense of, you know, rolling the ball.
Yeah.
And then now the machine goes down and we're in trouble, which is crazy.
That's funny because I was telling the story at the pizza show I was just at. We had one of those machines that exactly happened to us. So we used to do, I don't know, 5 batches of dough a day.
Okay.
All by hand.
Wow.
Then we got a machine, and it was great, right? Like, sped it up, saved 2 hours a day in labor because it's just way faster. Fast forward a few months later, everybody gets used to using the machine. Friday night happens, machine breaks, everybody calls you. What do we do? I'm like, what do you mean, what do you do? You roll the dough by hand. Don't you remember what we were at a couple years ago?
And they're like, no, what do you mean? We don't do that anymore.
We don't have time to do that.
All right. Yeah, we do. We used to do it, now we don't. Yeah, so that's the interesting part at the end of the day. And also, I feel that you have to still keep that connection to the product, right? The hand tells you if the product's good, the product's bad. I'm not a scientist. I've talked to 6 different scientists for my dough.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you find them? On YouTube?
No, through my supplier and through the different brands that I tried in flour. And, you know, it's funny because all these guys never been here, don't see the product, so they just tell me to move these little movements, water temperature and all that, and it's incredible, like the change in how the pizza, you know.
It is a science.
It is a science.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I really enjoy the science part, and I think that part is the most important thing, especially for pizza, right? There are a lot of people say, oh, the New York water. Yeah, sure, the New York water has different calcium, different things, right?
Minerals and everything.
Minerals, So it's obviously different than Florida, but to create such a difference, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not the water.
It's not the water.
You can definitely make up for it by a filtration system, or and there's ways of, like, every product that's what makes pizza so great. Yeah, is like the environment.
Every
you have to
product
make
is different.
Yeah,
right. When the temperature changes here. Crazy.
August is probably crazy humid in here.
Humid. Yeah. So the pizza it's just so interesting to see it. And then the mother has been the most interesting because we've killed so many, and we've learned so much about her. And it's a living thing. So every time we feed her and you see it, and it's active. It's almost like you're a friend. Hey, how are you? Like
right.
And then I went into French cookbooks, and I figured that French bakeries do a lot of sourdough, right? And sourdough is such an inconsistent, you know, in terms of like, will it grow today or will it not? And I figured out that in France, everybody uses a little bit of help, right? As long as you use under 2%, it's still considered a sourdough product, right? So I use a little bit of help, right?
Help, you mean yeast?
Yeast, yeah. And that creates the consistency in the product, right? But I just think it's so important that people, you know, care about their product, care about using great products. Like, I think grande cheese is the best in my opinion, but other people have different opinions. So, yeah.
I love it.
Thank you, Thomas. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode visiting Pigzza. We'll link up everything in the description below this video if you want to check out their Instagram or visit the restaurant, which I suggest you do because the pizza was fantastic. And once again, if you like these episodes of The Pizza Insider, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share it, and let us know in the comments below where should we go next. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next episode.